made slaves of the natives and forced them to dig in the mines, and a large quantity of gold was secured. Some of the greedy colonists thought of another and easier way of making money. They captured a number of the natives and sent them to Spain to be sold as slaves, and, strange to say, Columbus permitted this. When Queen Isabella heard of it, she was very angry with Columbus, and asked him who had given him the right to make slaves of her subjects. She commanded that every one of the Indians should be made free and sent home. This enslaving of the Indians was the beginning of the downfall of Columbus. Isabella never afterwards felt toward him as she had before. However, when he returned to Spain, he related a pitiful tale about the sufferings of the colonists in Haiti, and the Queen furnished him with supplies for them, and provided a fleet of 6 vessels with which he set sail on May 30th, 1498. On this third voyage a new land was discovered. One day 3 hilltops were seen rising out of the sea, and soon the ships approached a large island. Columbus called it, from its 3 peaks, Trinidad, and the island is still known by that name. From Trinidad they sailed to the southwest until they approached another shore. Columbus had now discovered the southern grand division of the New World, but he did not know this. He supposed that the land was only another island. He was anxious to get back to the colony on the island of Haiti, and so, sailing now to the northward, the ships in due time reached their harbor. In Haiti there were men plotting against Columbus. Some of the colonists who had not found so much gold as they had hoped for returned to Spain and complained to the king that Columbus was managing the colony badly. Ferdinand and Isabella partly believed what they said. As Columbus had done one wrong thing when he made slaves of the Indians, the king and queen thought he might do wrong in other things. Accordingly they sent to Haiti a man named Bobadilla to take charge of the colony, and Bobadilla on his arrival accused Columbus of cruelty and injustice, and sent him to Spain in chains. The captain of the vessel in which he sailed wished to remove these fetters, but Columbus would not allow him to do so. He wore them to the end of the voyage and kept them as relics ever afterwards. As soon as the vessel reached Spain, Columbus wrote a letter to the king and queen, telling them what he had done and what had been done to him. When Isabella read it, she is said to have shed tears. His fetters were at once removed, and Ferdinand and Isabella refused to listen to the charges which Bobadilla had made against him. Columbus never so much as imagined that he had discovered a new continent. He supposed that Cuba, Jamaica, and the other islands which he visited were some of what he called the Indies, or islands near India. For a long time everyone else supposed so too, and hence it is that Cuba and the neighboring islands have always been called the West Indies. About this time the Pope divided between Spain and Portugal all the newly discovered lands, and all that might afterwards be discovered. The dividing line was a meridian passing 300 leagues west of the Azores. Spain's share was all that lay west of this meridian, and Portugal's all that lay east of it. Spain was jealous of Portugal and anxious to secure a part of that kingdom's share. Columbus suggested a way to do this. He assured Ferdinand and Isabella that by sailing still farther to the westward, beyond the West Indies, it would be possible to reach some of the islands which might be claimed by Portugal, and of course he was correct in this view. He asked the sovereigns for a fleet with which to make the attempt, and in 1502, with 4 ships and 150 men, he set sail from Cadiz. On the voyage he landed at Jamaica and other islands, but although he was absent for more than 2 years, he accomplished nothing of importance. He returned to Spain in 1504 and died 2 years later. His body was buried at Valladolid, but was afterwards carried across the ocean and interred in the Cathedral of Santo Domingo on the island of Haiti. When that island was ceded by the Spaniards to France, the remains of the great navigator were removed to Havana, and there they rested until after the war between the United States and Spain, when they were taken back to Spain. End of chapter 2. Recording by Rhonda Fetterman.